Ladies and gentlemen, after what feels like forever,
Long time.
welcome to the Kings of the South podcast and NFC South podcast. I'm your host, Corey. That's TJ right there, my co-host. I am coming live to you from assignment in my son's bedroom. Uh, my man cave is gone. I had to make way for the other, for my other son who will be here in just over a couple weeks. So my man cave is in a state of flux right now. I'm still working on it. My wife was generous enough to give me the garage, so I'm still working on that. It's not ready yet, but when it is, you guys probably won't be able to tell the difference. It probably looks something like this still. So who knows? DJ, buddy, how the hell are you, man?
I'm doing good, man. Trying a new camera angle too. Sorry for the awkward angle. But yeah, I've been doing good, man. Working a lot. And that's my life. So
You don't have to complain about the camera angles. All right, these people are gonna take what they can get. They went without us for like almost a couple months now. So you know,
honestly, yeah, it's been a
the
hot minute.
fans are ready, man. The fans are ready, and what better way to get jump back into the fold than with fantasy football, man?
Oh yeah, I know. Best time of the year.
Yeah. Now,
I love it.
if you don't play fantasy football, I hate you. You're not fun.
You're
Um,
boring. You're stale.
you're what's wrong with this country. Um, but yeah, fantasy football, man. It's that time of the year. We have a draft scheduled to get underway in just about maybe what, an hour, less than an hour.
About 40 minutes.
Yeah, and we thought, you know, instead of being selfish and crunching the numbers and trying to go over who we want to pick and studying our draft strategy, we figured we would spread our knowledge or lack thereof to our fans.
Exactly.
So TJ, coming in hot, who you got? Give me your number one target.
So okay. I say this every year. It depends on where you're picking. For me, I'm picking 10th in a 10-team league. I'm probably going quarterback or receiver. Depends on who falls to me. I say this every year. It's all about where the board falls is going to dictate what I do. Also, too, how many receivers do you need to start? How many quarterbacks do you need to start? In our league, it's a 2 quarterback league, 3 receiver league. So I think those positions take precedent over running back, unless you get a stud running back who falls to you late in the first round, like a Bijan, a Saquon, a McCaffrey. So um, there's a caveat with that, though. But yeah, I mean, I really think it's dictated on how your board falls. That's really kind of decides where I go. If I'm early first, if I'm the number one pick, you don't pick again until the end of the second round because it's a snake draft.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably taking quarterback or receiver. Probably quarterback, to be honest. In a 2 quarterback league, I'm taking quarterback.
It depends. If Justin Jefferson can guarantee me another year like he had last year, sign me up. Sign me up. Sign me
He
up.
won me my league last year. You know what I'm saying?
Sign
He
me
won me
up.
the chip.
You know. But they do have, this guy. I don't know if you guys heard of him, Patrick, Lamar, Mahomes the second.
Is his middle name really Lamar?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought you were being
Are you
funny.
are you surprised?
Yeah,
Are
I
you
am
surprised?
actually.
I know
I
he
didn't
may
know his
not
middle
look
name.
it. I know he may not look it, but he is legitimately, half black. Legitimately. you know.
Yeah, people forget that.
Yeah, his dad smoked menthol cigarettes. Okay, he fit the criteria. All right. So yeah, yeah. So my thing is, if you're gonna go quarterback as your first pick,
hmm
make it a no-brainer. Make it leave no doubts. Don't be a homer and you got the first, you pick 5 or 6 in the draft, and you pick Dak Prescott as your quarterback. Come on, no, let's not get crazy.
Yeah.
Let's not get crazy. I
Yeah.
don't want to hear, Joe Burrow either. Joe Burrow should be in the second round, second, third round, if that's what we're doing it.
Yeah.
You know?
I think there's realistically, if we're being honest, I think there's 5 guys I think I said that I would take first round at quarterback. Outside of those 5, I'm not going quarterback.
Yeah.
In no specific order, Mahomes,
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen,
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
I think I said Lamar,
Yep.
and then I
Oh.
want to say Herbert. I think I
Oh.
said Herbert to somebody. It's a so I don't necessarily agree that Burrow is a bad pick for the first round, but I'd probably take Herbert over him.
You know, the name of the game is rushing yards and rushing touchdowns.
Could say Justin Fields.
That's where I'm going.
Yeah, I think it's between Fields and Herbert because Herbert people forget Herbert can run. He's 6'6". He's mobile. He's got a strong arm.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is Josh Allen-esque. He just hasn't reached that level yet, as far as elite. But I think this year might be the year that he takes that step as a superstar quarterback.
I disagree, but for fantasy, yes, he will be. He will
Yeah.
be.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think from a
Yeah.
fantasy perspective, I think we'll be talking about him next year in the first round as a top 5 pick.
Yes, absolutely.
Maybe not this year. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. Stranger things has happened. Stranger
Yeah.
things have happened. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Um,
Yeah.
Give me your sleeper quarterback, a quarterback that hasn't received much love in these fantasy football streets that you think is poised for a breakout.
That's a good one. I'm going to give you 2.
Mm-hmm.
I have 2. One is an older quarterback. One is a younger guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'll start with the younger guy. I'm going to say Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence is not talked about enough as a top quarterback in fantasy. Towards the back end of last year, he started to really show everyone what he was drafted number 1 overall for.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is a dual threat, just like a Herbert, a Fields. I mean, he's not the same athlete that Justin Fields is, but I think he has enough mobility to really make a threat of it as a runner. But as a passer, I mean, he stepped up greatly in the second half of last season. So I think by the end of this year, we'll be looking at Trevor Lawrence as one of the top 8 fantasy quarterbacks. And I know I think he finished top 8 last year.
I don't have the numbers in front of me.
I don't have the stats in front of me, but I know he did. He was one of the higher scoring quarterbacks towards the end of last season. So for me, Trevor Lawrence is a guy that I don't think gets enough talk about in fantasy. I think by the end of this year, he will be one of the top fantasy quarterbacks going forward into next season. And then my other one, a veteran, a guy who's been around a long time, who did not have a good year last year, but I think he's poised to have a great year this year. He's in a new city,
Uh-oh.
new team.
Uh-oh.
Aaron Rodgers.
Hey, discount
Aaron
double
Rodgers.
check.
Discount double check. I think that Aaron Rodgers has been slept on, and I'll tell you why. So I did a fantasy draft last night, and Aaron Rodgers, if you look at the ESPN rankings, he's like the 124th best player available, which is wild to me. Aaron Rodgers a couple years ago was one of the best fantasy quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah, he roasted us.
Yeah, and I truly think he's being slept on because of the fact that he's older. But I mean, Tom Brady was old last year, and he was one of the top quarterbacks taken in fantasy. He was taken in the first 3 rounds. But Aaron Rodgers is not being looked at in the same breath. But I think by the end of the season, we're going to feel different. At least in my belief, I think he's going to be one of the top quarterbacks in fantasy because of the weapons they have. I mean, Garrett Wilson, I've already been on record of telling people I think he's going to be a top 10 receiver this year.
I think top 10 is being too generous. I mean being too
Yeah.
not generous. I'm sorry. I can't speak the word. You know, I don't think that's high enough. I think he's going to finish top 5.
I did say top 5 to some people. Yeah, I just didn't want to be too hot takey on the pod, but
Hey
yeah,
man, this is the
if I'm being
time.
honest with my comments, I did say top 5 by the end of the season because so many people have compared him to Devontae Adams, including Aaron Rodgers, who played with Devontae Adams.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Rodgers and Garrett Wilson, great combination. So if you do stacks, if you're big on stacks in fantasy, meaning quarterback receiver or quarterback tight end, I think Garrett
That's the
Wilson,
one. Yep.
yeah, Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers.
All right.
So
So,
those would be my top two dark horse quarterbacks for fantasy.
all right. For me, I'm gonna keep it short. I'm going Jordan Love, man.
He was, I almost said Jordan Love over Trevor Lawrence, but I felt like Trevor Lawrence,
Yeah. Right now, he's a better quarterback than Jordan Love.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's not, But I just feel like from watching Jordan Love in preseason, I get it. I know it's only preseason, but the chemistry
Looks
he
good.
already developed with his receivers, with his weapons, with
Mhm.
Christian Watson, with Romeo Dobbs, who is probably the receiver you need to go after because he targeted Romeo Dobbs more than Watson, and it wasn't even close. But you know, I think Jordan Love know where his biscuits are buttered.
Mhm.
Christian Watson is the home run threat, and Jordan Love likes to chuck that ball down the field, especially in this offense. They're going to be predicated on moving the football, and that's not always necessarily a run.
Mhm.
And one thing Mike LaFleur has showed us is he is not afraid to put the ball in his quarterback's hands. He's not afraid to do so. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm going.
Matt LaFleur is not afraid to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that pick. That's actually a good choice. So
And
who is your top 5 running backs in fantasy? Like if you had a big board of running backs that you're taking first round.
yeah, let me sit up for this.
Because this is what I really want to get into with you, especially because of a specific name.
Okay. In no particular order. Well,
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
the first two are in no particular order. It can go either or.
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey,
Yeah.
Bijan Robinson.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Third, I'm going Saquon. Fourth, I'm going Austin Eckler. Fifth, I'm going Josh Jacobs.
Really? Okay.
Yes. Because, Josh McDaniels has shown that, he may not be able to call a, proficient offense, but he'll run the hell out of the football. So,
Yeah, he will.
yeah. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. And I know what you want to get into. Why Bijan, right? Why Bijan? Why am I so high on Bijan?
Yeah. Give me your why, because
Okay.
specifically, Corey has been on record in the last 48 hours of needlessly consistently telling me that he would take Bijan over a plethora of players.
Yes. All right.
So give the fans your why.
Okay. So,
and we're talking first round. We're talking first round.
First round. So first and foremost, I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan. Have been all my life. Okay.
Unfortunately.
So with this regime under Arthur Smith, they and Terry Fontenot as GM, they have adapted this term positionless football, meaning they will draft players regardless of what position they play and play them all over the field.
Mm-hmm.
Case in point, when we signed Cordero Patterson late in the offseason a couple years back and played him at running back, where he was pretty much an all-pro, Pro Bowler type player. We drafted Kyle Pitts, who was on paper to be a tight end, but we moved him out wide. We put him in the slot. Hell, some plays we put him in the backfield. So Arthur Smith loves to get players that are adaptable, who can be put in different positions and thrive. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I'm so high on Bijan Robinson is because he fits that description to a T. If I don't think people understand how talented Bijan Robinson is. If he was to say, you know what, I'm done being a running back, I just want to focus on being a wide receiver. He has all the talent to be a top 10 receiver today, if he wanted to. So you take that ability, all of that, his catching, his route running, his vision, his elusiveness, his speed. He has long speed. I don't think people talk about it enough. But
Yeah.
put all of that together, in addition to what he can do in between the tackles, I firmly believe that when it's all said and done, he's a league winner.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen in previous draft classes, the rookie classes, running back, they've finished top 5 in rushing and in fantasy for running backs the last couple of years. I mean, just last year it was who was it? Brees Hall?
Brees Hall before he got hurt. Yep.
Yeah, before he got hurt.
Kenneth Walker.
Kenneth Walker was another one. I mean, back when Saquon entered the league, Saquon was one of the best running backs in fantasy that year. We've been on record of saying Alvin Kamara and Christian McCaffrey. I mean, the list goes on. Really, I mean, it's one of those positions where you can't really miss unless they just don't pan out, like a Trent Richardson.
Yeah.
And even then, I think Trent Richardson's rookie year, he still had
He
a good
still
season.
1,000 yards. Yeah, he
Yeah,
still was good.
so it's one of those positions that's very easily it's very easy to project. So I don't think you're far off saying that he could finish top 5, top 3 in fantasy at running back. But the part that got me was when you would start tit for tat comparing. Okay, the board is breaking down like this. Bijan's on the board. I had to bring up earlier. What if Tyreek Hill's on the board?
And I got that. Tyreek is Tyreek. His speed alone is going to get me at least 10 points a
Yeah,
game. But my whole thing is, I tried it the other way, where you focus on drafting the quarterback first, and it bit me in the ass. It bit me
yeah.
last year. Justin, now it's not his fault. Justin Herbert got hurt. He was my first quarterback off the board. I took him.
He had a down
Uh,
year, kind of, sort
yeah,
of.
it didn't work out for your boy. So
Yeah.
it depends on who's there. Just gotta play the board, man. Just gotta play the board.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, there's so many good players the first like 4 or 5 rounds. After the 5th round, I say it starts to kind of take a dip, um, just slightly in certain positions. Receivers deep. I mean,
Yeah.
even
Before
if
we,
you don't get a true number 1, you're
yeah,
gonna get a solid wide receiver 2 in the later rounds.
yeah. Before we jump into receiver, because we're gonna jump into receiver real quick. Give me a running back who you see is drafted way too high. That you're just like, what do they see in this guy? I don't get it.
I've seen it in a couple leagues and even mock drafts. I mean, and I know mock drafts are mock drafts. People don't really take a lot of substance behind it. Um, but I've seen uh, Jonathan Taylor, and we don't know his situation right now. He's going to miss the first 4 games. He hasn't signed a new deal. He's been on record of saying unless he gets a new deal, he's not playing this year. And I'm still seeing him go 3rd or 4th round. That scares me. That scares me as a fantasy
Yeah,
manager, like for fantasy football purposes. Unless you're a Colts fan, I'm not touching Jonathan Taylor the first 3 rounds
yeah,
because you're wasting a pick.
yeah. He'll
You don't know what he's going to do. You don't
mhm,
even know if he's going to play.
yeah,
We can talk all day about the rumors and what Adam Schefter's reporting and the camps on both sides between the organization and Jonathan Taylor's camp on contract negotiations or trades. As of the other day, the trade window is closed for trading Jonathan Taylor, and I don't know if they're going to reopen it to trade him before the trade deadline, week 8.
mhm.
I really think he's going way too high considering his situation. Obviously, we know the talent's there, but are you willing to risk a top 100 pick on a running back you don't even know is going to play this year? It's different with Kamara. Kamara is going to miss what the first 3 or 4 games.
I don't know. I think did he get a 4 or 6 game suspension?
I think it was a 4. I think it
Okay.
was a 4 game. I know he's going to miss the Monday night game week 2 against us,
Well, see, I know
which is
you're
good.
sad about it. You're sad about it.
I'm so excited. I hate playing Alvin Kamara. But yeah, if I had to pick a running back that's going way too high, I'd say Jonathan Taylor. That's an easy one, man. Like you think about it, you just don't know if he's even going to play this year.
All right. All right.
So, I
So
mean, he's a top 10 talent, top 5 talent at running
mhm,
back, but you just don't know what he's going to do.
it's the unknown, man.
Yeah, that scares the shit out of me. I would not want to play him. I would not want to draft him in the first 4
Yeah.
rounds.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into receivers, man.
Yeah.
You know, everyone knows about Justin Jefferson and you know your Devontae Adams and your Jamar Chase. There's not much we can say about those folks, guys. You know the you know Tyreek Hill and the Jalen Waddles, but who's that next level of wide receiver that you can see breaking through to the upper echelon of fantasy football receivers?
Ooh. So depending on their rapport and how the quarterback develops this year, quietly, I could see Terry McLaurin really becoming that elite level fantasy receiver. We all know Terry McLaurin's very talented from a football perspective.
He's quarterback
He's
proof. He's quarterback proof.
right, but can he take that next step to where week in and week out he's scoring you at least 15 to 20 points a game? Can he? Will he? We'll see. But I think he is that receiver. If you're talking dark horse receiver that no one's really giving a lot of eyes to, that could develop into that next tier of a Jamar, Tyreek, Jefferson, Cooper Cup. You know, I think Terry McLaurin is that guy.
For me, man, this is with heavy thought. And I don't want you guys to think that I'm just, you know, being a homer.
Oh
I'm
God,
not,
here we go. I knew it.
because I'm not. I'm going Drake London, baby. What do you mean?
Oh God,
Drake
no
London.
surprise
I'm
here.
going with it. And I'll tell you why. We all know when Marcus Mariota was under center, things did not go well for the Atlanta Falcons pass catchers. Hell, things didn't go right for the Atlanta Falcons, period. Um, and if you need further proof, uh, you can look right here. This is where I'm going to put a picture of Marcus Mariota throwing a football from his butt that was intercepted on Thursday Night Football.
I love it.
Yeah, so
Panthers.
I'm going to put that in, and you know, I'm going to take it away now, and I'm going to put it back in just because you know people need to remember. I'm going to put it back in right now. All right, so things didn't go well with Marcus Mariota, but when they made the switch to Desmond Ritter in the final 4 games of the season, there was no wide receiver targeted more than Drake London. He peppered him with targets. He had almost double. He had almost double his receiving yardage in the last 4 games of the season than he had all year. He ended the year with 73 catches, almost what do you have, like 800 something yards, maybe 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
You're gonna see an uptick in that. I'm not saying he's gonna end up, you know, top 5, but can I see him finishing top 10, top 15? Absolutely. Especially in the PPR league. You know?
Yeah. I mean, the talent's there.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of what him and Desmond can do together for 17 games.
Hey, what Coach Prime say? I believe. I believe.
I mean, a great comp for Drake London has been Mike Evans.
Oh, yeah.
He's big, he's physical. He's got the ability to high point the ball. Run after catch. I mean, he's tough to tackle. You know, he's not necessarily fast, but he's just a big guy.
He's deceptively fast. I thought
right.
You remember when he came out, I didn't want him. I was like, man, this big slow receiver. He's faster than I thought.
I remember I called that draft pick. I said, y'all are taking Drake London.
Well, brother, you got to understand, our defense was like historically bad. I thought, I don't know, maybe we'll throw something at the defense and hope it sticks. But this is why they get paid the big bucks. They know more than me, so you know.
So let's get a little deeper into this whole dark horse receiver thing. I'm gonna give you a name, and you tell me your expectation. Okay, I'm gonna give you a couple of names.
Okay.
Number one, DJ Moore.
I
What is
expect
your expectations for him in Chicago this year with Justin Fields?
I expect him to do what he was doing consistently for Carolina, getting 1,000 yards and
Yeah.
60 plus catches. That's what I expect. They traded you, for them draft picks.
I love it.
They,
Number one pick.
yeah,
Right.
you gonna have to prove yourself, brother.
Yeah.
You have to prove it.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, so that's my
Because he was
expectation.
pissed.
Yeah, I expect him to ball out.
Yeah, I agree.
I also expect him to be peppered with targets too, because he's the true number one receiver.
Yeah.
Sorry, Daryl Mooney. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I expect him to be one of the best receivers in the league if they want to live up to what they gave us in return for him.
Mm-hmm.
When you trade the number one pick and you go get a guy that was the best receiver on Carolina, the expectation is that he's gonna be that weapon that Justin
Yeah.
Fields needs.
Yeah. So
So
it's a
we'll
big
see.
year for them. It's a big year for Chicago, man. So we'll
Their
see.
front office is gonna be under a lot of scrutiny if Justin Fields doesn't develop
Yeah.
as a passer.
Yeah.
So we already know what he can do as a runner. So
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see on that. Uh,
my next name. So you mentioned his quarterback earlier.
mhm.
What is your expectation for Christian Watson?
You know, it depends on how he progresses as a player.
Mm-hmm.
I have no doubt that he's going to be the go ball specialist. I have no doubt.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
can he run the slants? Can he run the digs? Can he run the post corners and post route? Can he do all that? I don't know. We'll have to see. Uh,
Yeah.
he's not a terrible route runner. I think he's a good
Mhm.
route runner. I want to see if he can be a great route runner. And if he
Yeah.
can do that with that speed, with his size and his athleticism, he'll be close as close to Julio as you can get. And that's the
Mhm.
highest compliment I can give him.
Yeah. I mean, because he's super talented as an athlete, but I mean, we all know athletes don't make great receivers.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's a matter of, can he develop as a route runner and do the route tree that he needs to be that elite receiver.
Yeah.
So I know we're tight on time, so I'm just finishing up my statement there.
All right. No, it's all good. Let's go tight ends, man.
Tight end.
I'm going to give you my dark horse tight end. And it's not who you think. It's not what you think. My dark horse tight end, rookie tight end, Michael Maher, Las Vegas Raiders. And I'll tell you why. Not only is Michael Maher one of one of the more athletic tight ends in the NFL now. Now, don't get me wrong, he's not Kyle Pitts, but few are. He is a complete tight end. And there is no player that Jimmy G loves throwing the football to more than a tight end.
Yeah.
So that's my under the radar, somebody you never heard of, but can end up finishing at top 10 in uh, in tight end rankings in a position group that is statistically, is poor. I think last year they had 3 good tight ends and everybody else is just like struggling to stay afloat.
Mm-hmm.
He's somebody you should, take a flyer on.
Yeah. If I was to give a dark horse tight end, a sleeper, this is a deep sleeper. Like, this
Okay.
is a guy who is very talented coming out of college, but has never truly lived up to the hype.
Okay.
But now he's on a team where he could fit in well with their skill position players. And I'm talking about Irv Smith,
I
who's
knew that's where you were
Cincinnati
going.
Bengals.
I knew that's where you were going. I
So
knew it.
he is replacing Hayden Hurst, who is now in Carolina on my team.
Mm-hmm.
And if people don't know, Hayden Hurst was very well liked in Cincinnati. He was treated well, and he was a heavy pass catcher for them, including still having T. Higgins on the roster and Jamar Chase and Tyler Boyd. I think Irv Smith can fill that role. I think he's more athletic than Hayden Hurst.
Mhm.
He does need to develop better as a blocker, but
I feel like that ain't gonna happen. If he
no.
can't block by now, he's not gonna be able to block.
Yeah, and that's why I'm about to say this because for those who do play fantasy football, you probably remember Evan Ingram was a stud last year,
Oh yeah,
a guy who struggled to stay healthy throughout his career in New York and really took that next step last season in Jacksonville and actually got paid really well this offseason for it. I think Irv Smith is that next guy. He's got the athleticism. He's a great pass catching tight end. He's a vertical threat. And with Jamar, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon, I think sky's the limit for Irv Smith. I think he can really fill in what Hayden Hurst was and possibly do it better than Hayden Hurst did. So
yeah,
that's my sleeper pick at tight end would be Irv Smith.
I agree. Yeah, he has all the tools you would want in a tight end. Um, Good hands, solid build. He can get some yards after the catch. And also, if you leave him with a linebacker, he will burn your linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
So
He's athletic.
so it's that offense is going to be a lot of pick your poison. It's
Oh yeah,
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it because
Bengals are loaded.
they whooped us last year. They whooped us. Both our teams. They whooped
Yeah, I don't. Joe Mixon had 5 rushing touchdowns.
us.
We got our butts handed to us
Oh man. All right.
on a silver platter.
Yeah. So staying in the tight end position, there will be no other like, oh, who do you think this? Who do you think that? This is just a PSA. Okay, folks.
Yeah.
Now, no one loves Travis Kelce as much as I do. Okay. I
Yeah.
love him. Do not draft Travis Kelce in the first round. What are you doing?
Yeah. I've seen
What
it.
what are you doing? Don't do it. Don't do it, folks. He'll be there. I promise you. He'll be there. You don't have to take him first round.
Yeah. I don't agree with people who have said that, oh, well, who do you take, him or Tyreek? I'm not taking Travis Kelce over Tyreek Hill. I'm
No,
not.
no.
At the end of the day, in most leagues, you start one tight end. Tight end is probably the least important position on your
Kicker.
team.
Kickers.
I mean, I'm talking skill positions.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't consider kicker part of that skill group. But yeah, man, I can't understand for the life of me why people sit there and want to, you know, draft Travis Kelce top 10. I don't understand that. There's receivers and quarterbacks and running backs that I would take over him.
Yeah. Well,
So
people are who they are. So we'll see. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see something like that in about 10 minutes. So, we'll see. Um,
time is almost here,
yeah,
boys.
man, we're gonna start wrapping this episode up. We're just gonna rapid fire some players we think you should be on the lookout for because I feel like they're
Yeah.
gonna make some noise um in fantasy football this year. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna start Anthony Richardson.
Oh yeah. I got him in my league last night.
I feel like what he can bring to the table from both a passer and a runner is worth the draft pick.
Oh
At least
yeah.
a late
Easy.
night flyer.
Especially in 2 quarterback leagues.
Yeah. Who do you got, buddy?
I'm gonna go running back position,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna go with Alexander Madison.
Ooh.
There's been some rumors about Ty Chandler, the backup, and how he might take away time from Madison. I think Madison proved last year when he was healthy that he's a workhorse and he's dynamic as a runner and as a pass catcher.
Yeah.
He's not a super athlete, but he's just very good at what he does.
Yeah. And that's all you need in that offense. You don't need
Yeah.
another game breaker. But
Yeah.
but they do got another game breaker, which leads me to a receiver, Jordan Addison, game
Mm-hmm.
breaker, route
Oh,
runner
another one.
extraordinaire. The impact he's going to have. I want you to think of when Justin Jefferson rookie year and what Adam Thielen was his rookie year
Yep.
when they damn near went over 1,000 yards together.
Yep.
That's what I'm expecting, but in
Yeah.
a much higher dose. I feel like Jordan Addison adds some juice to that receiver room, a receiver room that already has some speed. I mean, I feel like they got faster. People keep sleeping on KJ Osborne, and I don't know why.
People forget he's there.
Yeah, from a fantasy standpoint, I get it, but if we're talking about football players on the team, he's good.
Yeah.
So yeah, watch out for him. You want to throw Zay Flowers in there too? Because I'm thinking so.
Zay Flowers was my other one. Zay Flowers is looking dynamic in training camp and preseason. I think he's one to watch out for in the later rounds. If you're needing a receiver and you want to put him on your bench and just see what he does, I think Zay Flowers is a great pickup. And also Jalen Hyatt from New York. Switch his number to 13. We all know who 13 was in New York. So
speaking of, stay away from Odell until he proves it, guys. Stay away.
Yeah. Later round pickup, but nothing early.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we're gonna end it there, buddy. I think that's a good spot. Also tell the people what round they should draft your boy Bryce Young in, man. You know what I'm saying? Just throw it out there, man.
Man, I'm thinking, perfect number, 9th round, number 9, 9th round. Two quarterback league, not one, two.
Yeah.
One quarterback, you might want to wait a little later. That's just my opinion.
I feel it. Well, folks,
don't hate me.
Yeah, we gonna get out of here, and I promise y'all we're gonna have the down bad award and the pour one out on the next episode. We probably gonna have one every day this week just to catch up because we know we mean a lot to y'all. Y'all look forward to those segments, so we're gonna look out for y'all.
Much love.
Until then, it's your boy Corey. You know what I'm saying? My man right there. We about to get out of here. We got to draft.